Hey ladies, all right, so I'm coming to you with the yarn braided coaster tutorial. So let's go ahead and dive in. And I've already started using the one I made. So this one right here is what we will be making today. Super cute. So I just have that sitting off to the side and my little glitter back sits on top of it, dying. Okay, let me tell you guys are so stinking amazing and awesome. It's super hard. All of you guys, all of you back there, thank you so much. Your guys' comments was totally blowing my mind. You guys are amazing. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. I just wanted to start off with that. So let's dive in. So what I did is I did go ahead and start the braiding. I haven't completed it, but you will see right here what I did is I cut 14 pieces of yarn, okay? Now, 7 one color, 7 another color, or if you don't want to mix the colors, then you just do 14 strands, okay? So you're going to do 14 strands at 24 inches long, okay? That's what will give this big long snake its length, okay? And then you're going to knot it at the top, and you're going to leave a little bit on top. You don't want to cut it down to the nub, and there's a reason for that, and I'll show you when we start adding it all together, or adhering it. Okay, so we have all of this done. I braid it, and don't tightly braid it or make it too loose, I guess, kind of like in the middle, because if you tighten it, it'll make it curl. When you have it loose, it just tends to, you know, create that circle easier. Okay, so now I'm at the very end. All right, so now you're gonna see that everything is gonna look all, and mind you, when I did cut them, they were even. For whatever reason, when you're braiding, they all just don't end up even at the end, but that's all right. All right, so I'm at the very end of my braid. Okay, excuse my thumb. I literally broke it just before I did this video. Not happy about it. So instead of you guys looking at that as an eyesore, I figured let me just go ahead and bandage that, because these are my actual nails. So when it broke, it literally broke like down to here. I'm not happy. I will be going to the nail lady. They just barely opened this weekend, so. And then what I did is I just cut a 12-inch piece of yarn. It doesn't matter how long, as long as you can tie it on here. If you want exact, that's what I did. It's 12 inches. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and tie it. Now I tie one time, then I do a surgical knot, okay? Surgical knot is one and then one more around so that it looks like that. And then I tie it, just to guarantee that knot is not coming undone, okay? And then we're gonna get one of these and we're gonna push this up here. And then we're gonna get the rest of these and we're gonna trim them, because we don't need them this long, okay? And don't trim them short. You kind of want them long, because you're gonna hang your beads. So you don't want your tail to be like up here and then your beads are hanging way out here. Okay, so then what we do from here is, if you have floral wire, okay, this is what I get from Michael's, it's in the floral section, or if you have collapsible needles. These I purchased from Michael's. I use these for my seed beads and stuff like that. Either of these will work. I'm going to show you what I did with this one. I love this stuff. It's super cheap and it lasts forever, and I use it for a ton of different things. So I just randomly cut a piece and like this, okay, it's nothing big. I just cut it, and then what I do is I grab the end of the yarn and I just close it like this to where the yarn's inside. Now I'm not wrapping it, I'm just doing it like this very loosely, okay? And that's so that I can get this yarn into all the beads. And I start with the smallest bead first. And the good thing about this wire is it's super thin, okay? And then I'm gonna add another one of these little plastic daisy spacers. I'm gonna add this blue bead and another one of these little daisy spacers, and then this fatty daddy. Now I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna pull it all the way through, and then I can just open this up. So you don't have to have collapsible needles, as long as you can do that, because this is super thin, guys. You definitely need that in your arsenal. All right, so here is how it's gonna dangle, okay, on my my coaster. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and tie a knot at the very end. Now, the way you can get this flush to get it to the bottom, oops, dang it, the bead fell down. To get it to the bottom of the bead is this way. Hold on, let me undo that, it came. All right, so let's go ahead and do the knot. It's so hard not having this Band-Aid on right now. All right. Oh, geez, okay. Is you get something, let me see. See if I can, okay, so for instance, let's say you get a poker, okay? You hold the poker down to the very bottom of the bead, like you see it's right there. You're holding it to the bottom of the bead and you're pulling like this. This hand is pulling, and then this one is pulling at the bottom of the bead. So when you do that, it secures that you're gonna get it closest to the bead, the knot. Okay, so let's do it again, because I always tie more in one knot. So get this, tie it around like you're gonna do your knot. Get your pokey. Oh, the beads are heavy, so okay. And then we're gonna stick it inside the knot, and we're gonna hold it down closest to the bead. And then we're gonna pull. So right hand is pulling closer to the bead because this is what's inside the knot, and then my left hand is what's pulling the yarn, okay? And then you just pull it down and it gets it closest to the bead. And that's what we want. Because a lot of times if you try to freehand it, your knot will end up here, and then you have like 15 knots. And you don't need that. So we're just gonna go ahead and close that off. So now our little bead dangle is complete. Now with the second part right here, okay? This is just a random piece of felt that I picked that we'll be using. Now when you do your wrap, I'm gonna do it down on here, okay? You wanna make sure you flatten your braid to where it's not all tangled or twisted and stuff like that, because it's gonna be important that it's not. And then make sure that however your beads lay is the way, is the flat side, so that you're not doing it this way and your beads are laying this way, because this is the way it's gonna look up. So we have this all laid up the right way. Okay, now we're gonna take this part right here and we're gonna turn it, and we're gonna put this over this tassel part, okay? That's at the end, and you need that. You don't, that's why I say you don't wanna cut it, and when I flip it over, you're gonna see why. So we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping, and don't wrap it super tight, because then it'll start bunching up, and that's what you don't want. Okay, so I'm literally turning with my left hand, and my right hand is what's, you know, just kind of like keeping it close together, not letting it get super squished up, and you're just lightly wrapping it. Okay, and then we're just gonna turn with my left hand, and this glass mat is the Tim Holtz glass mat. I love this thing. It's like 24 inches long. Okay, and then we're just gonna lightly turn it and then let the braid follow, okay? So you see your coasters right there looking super cute, all right? So then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna grab this, and we are gonna just pick up underneath and just turn it over. And if it comes a little undone, it's okay. We're just gonna rewrap. It's not a big deal. There, see? So we have our little tassel right here. We're gonna put this up just a little, just because when we add the adhesive, we wanna make sure we get the adhesive at the bottom. All right, and then we'll just move this up a little bit. And then what I'm gonna use is my Helmer glue. So if you have this, or you have the, I think it's a 3-in-1, or if you have Fabri-Tac, you could use those. This one right here just comes out like butter. I love this one. Fabri-Tac, man, you gotta get your workout on to get that bad boy out of the container. Okay. And let's see if I got it. Okay, it's coming out. All right. So I start in the middle, like right under where the tassel part is, and I just put a little bit under here, and then I put the tassel part down. Okay. And then from here is where I'm just gonna start, and I'm gonna just start going in circle all the way around. I think I have, it's not coming out as easy. I think I have something stuck in the nozzle because I just did one right now. Okay, and you're just gonna keep going in circles. And make sure you're getting on those braids. Now don't go too happy and add way too much because you don't want it to seep through. Okay, I think I do have something that's stuck in there because it's not, I'm actually having to squeeze hard, which is, I don't normally have to do with this adhesive. And then we're gonna get the back part of, and we're gonna go right in the middle of that braid. Okay, and I could see I didn't get some right here. And it's coming out in thin lines, so it's not like, I don't know what it is. I'm gonna have to see what I got stuck in there. All right, so, and make sure you get right over where that knot is. All right, that looks good enough. All right. Okay, then we're going to take our piece of felt, that doesn't matter how it looks, and we're just going to put it over. Okay, and we're going to press it down, and then we're going to flip it over, and then if anything is like not in a correct circle, then we'll fix it. And it actually looks like it did well. Okay, so here we go. And then you're just gonna let it dry. I put something heavy on it. So for instance, I'll put like this on here because this bad boy is heavy. So I pre-made one earlier so that we could cut it together because it's already pretty much dried, okay? So for this right here, it's like you're cutting under a little bit of the braid. Oh, these aren't my scissors. All right. So we are just gonna cut like right under the braid, and be really careful and take your time so that you don't cut the actual yarn. And you're just gonna cut all the way around, guys. It's like, this is the most easiest thing ever. And so fun to make. I love it. All right. And then we're gonna cut this part off. Make sure to cut the tassel, and then we're gonna go to this side, and we're gonna cut under here. Yeah, it's still a little wet. I can feel it on the other side, but it's not as much. I'm trying to get it to avoid the dangle because it's still wet, and I don't want the dangle part to pop off. All right. Let's see if we can, I think I might need to get some new Timmies. These ones I've had for a while. And I know that I need to keep one for one thing and the other for another. And I don't. I always grab what's closest to me and I use it. Okay, so when you flip it over, it's this felt. Here is this one, and this is the one I just made before the video. And this is a purple and blue. So that is it, guys. This is like the super easiest thing ever. So just remember, 12 pieces of yarn, 24 inches long. And you can coat, if you wanted 12 of one color, or I'm sorry, 14, I lied. You need 14 24-inch long pieces of yarn. So sorry. And then tie it at the knot, and tie the knot at the end, and then just go ahead and start doing your braid, wrapping it in a circle on something that's, you know, smooth surface so that you can just easily turn it. And then that's, I mean, really, it's super easy, and just be real mindful of keeping the one up and putting that part up, and then doing, you know, and trimming the rest of your tassel part of it. But just make sure you don't go too high up, because you want to make sure that you keep in mind the length of your dangle. And that's it, guys. Like, that's it. No brainer. Michaels. And then if you have a pokey tool to help with your doing your knot closest to your bead, you just stick this right in the knot and you hold it closest to the bead and you pull the yarn with the other hand and just keep this one closer and it'll hold the knot down at the bottom. That's just like a little tidbit trick. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and thank you guys so much for everything. And now I'm working on my next tutorial for those angels and dragonfly dangles. Bye guys.